Tyson G is originally from Vancouver, Canada, where he did his formal training. He then spent 5 years cooking in Melbourne, Australia, before he was asked to be the executive chef at the Ruma Hotel and Residence.
For me, falling in love with food, I guess it goes back as a child. I guess I grew up in a family of four siblings. For me, I was always the more adventurous one. I was always the first one to try something new. I liked different flavors. I loved playing around in the kitchen. From that, I was quite fortunate because my high school actually had a culinary arts program. A very simple, basic culinary arts program, but at least it showed you the basic fundamentals. And from there, it really, a big foundation down for me where I really knew that that's what I wanted to do. Everyone in my life at that point looked down on me for wanting to cook. I said, this is what I want to do. And that's it, I guess being a bit stubborn, I decided to carry on. I really didn't care what anybody thought. I enjoyed what I did. Yeah, you go through some hard patches with what you do and there's some downtime, but it's truly what makes you happy,
One of Tyson's biggest challenges was coming up with a modern Malaysian food menu.
When I originally started coming up with the menu, I didn't want to really deconstruct classical Malaysian dishes and really upset the local clientele. So instead I wanted to bring an outsider's perspective in to Malaysia, really focusing on local produce, focusing on local flavors, and recreating something from my perspective on what Malaysian food could be. Malaysian food is very unique. It's a very big cultural melting pot of flavors. You have the local Malays, you have the Indian influence, and you have the Chinese influence. And so all of this comes together and it really creates this dynamic cuisine. For me, what I really wanted to do, I kind of worked backwards. I thought about what I didn't want to do, because I don't want to take, say, nasi lemak and make it something that it's not, or take rendang and make it something that it's not. So I figured, how can I create something a bit more original, something a bit more new? And that's where I thought, really strongly focus on using Malaysian produce. A lot of this long forgotten heirloom indigenous produce, and bring it up into a more upscale modern environment. A lot of the stuff that we work with is considered what they call here in Malaysia like kampong style foods, where it's food that you see in villages in the middle of the countryside. And for me, how I discovered a lot of this is when I do go travel across the country, first thing I would always do is always go to the morning wet market. And I'll spend the whole morning there just meandering through, browsing, and just, you always see something different in these markets, and you always see or taste something very unique and very, uncommon. And that's where I try to take these different flavors and bring it into what I'm doing. And, that's really what gets me excited. And then another part of the food is really food that I enjoy eating. I want food that I can eat every day. I don't want, let's call it special occasion food, where you have it once a month or once a year. I want the food, if you want to come here every day, great, or if you come here once or twice a week, the food's still good. It's not, you don't feel like it's too formalized. It's food that, it's very relatable, you understand it, but at the same time, you're tasting new flavors, some new textures, and you're just really having a great dining experience. I guess that's what makes Malaysia such a great place, is that there's so many passionate people here, and and everyone's very like-minded, and it really makes being here such a great place to be, especially now. I think a lot of people are starting to take note on Malaysia, because Singapore to the south and Thailand to the north, Malaysia doesn't get too much of the limelight, but now people are starting to notice that there's something really great happening here.